Kevin here for Catch and Cook California, and today we're going out foraging for wild strawberries. We're going to make a one-of-a-kind Dutch oven wild strawberry shortcake. Let's go. Alright, before we get into the foraging, I've got other forays to talk about. So coming up, mid-May, there are the king tides. So the weekend of the 16th, I'll be down on the San Luis Obispo coast. We have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all of which are excellent low tides. I know Mondays are hard to get free from work, but that's going to be a minus 2.0 low tide. Going for eels. Mussels will be closed at that time, but it's the beginning of seaweed season. So if you want to get out, do some coastal foraging on the extreme low tides, that's going to be a heck of a good time. Details and registration at catchandcookcalifornia.com, and I do recommend you sign up for the email list. That way you get the early bird notifications. And if you're not getting that email list, you may have to go into your spam, click on it, and then opt to have it moved over to your main list. All right, enough talking. Let's go pick some strawberries. So I'm out here on this coastal bluff. I got to be very careful. It's about a 150-foot drop behind me, but I have a jar because I'm in the middle of a wild strawberry patch. It's early May, it's wild strawberry season, and I'm gonna go through here, forage up some wild strawberries, then I'm gonna meet up with my mom. We're gonna bust out the Dutch oven, and we're gonna make some classic strawberry shortcake. So come on in here, let me show you how to identify wild strawberries, show you how to harvest them, and let's go make something delicious. That one right there looks amazing. These are huge too. These are way bigger than what I'm normally expecting with a wild strawberry. Usually they're about the size of a blueberry. These are definitely quite a bit bigger. Some of these are about the size of a marble, which for a wild strawberry, that's pretty sizable. Man, these look so good. All right, I can't help myself. I'm gonna eat one. The flavor, it's like concentrated strawberry. It's so good. Oh man. All right, come in, check this out. All of these are wild strawberry leaves here. It looks exactly like the domestic strawberry, same flower and everything. You look very closely, you'll see where the flower starts to die back after it's been pollinated. That creates the beginning of the fruit, and then the fruit grows sort of white in color, and eventually it turns red like that. That is a ripe wild strawberry. They're not huge, but they are absolutely delicious. This guy's got a little bit of sand on it, but that's okay. These are adapted. These are beach strawberries, so they're adapted to grow in the sand dunes. Wow. This is a pretty unique patch. Most places, they're actually protected. It's not the strawberry itself that's protected, but the dunes themselves are protected, and that's because these are vital habitats for ground nesting birds, especially the snowy plover, which is a threatened species here in California. So you gotta be very, very careful, do a lot of homework. Maybe you find access to private land where you can do this, but even still, as you're doing it, you gotta be very, very careful where you're stepping, and don't go past those ropes if they say that it's closed for nesting birds. Wild strawberries are delicious, but it's not worth impacting endangered species. Anyway, this spot is totally open. I'm foraging some strawberries. We're gonna make strawberry shortcake. Let's pick some of these. For the longest time, I had trouble finding wild strawberries, and I think one of the reasons was I was looking for them when blackberries are in season, when huckleberries are in season, and that's way, way too late. These guys fruit super early, so I find them in April, like mid-April through May on the coast, and they may fruit even later if you go further north, because the further north you go, the more temperate the climate gets. And I've never seen them in Southern California. This is mostly like a Central and Northern California kind of species. Right there in the middle, next to that red leaf, he's already been sampled by an insect, but he'll be all right. We'll just give him a rinse. That looks great. Man, I'm so excited about this. I've been looking forward to this all season, ever since they went out of season last year. So I'm just gonna take off the little base of each one of these strawberries so that I get those little leaflets off, and then I'm gonna give them a rinse when I get home, because again, they like to grow in sandy dune kind of soils, and that sand obviously can get stuck to the fruit. So I wanna make sure I get that off of there. They're really hard to find. It's real easy to find the plant itself, but the strawberry itself really blends in, probably because there's so many of these strawberry leaves that are the same color. So you kind of have to comb through with your fingers, and then you'll find them. Sometimes you'll find a whole cluster. These right here, they're all white, so not quite ready. I'm gonna hide those a little bit, and that way they can mature. If it's got a bit of strawberry blush to it, that red, but a little bit of white, that's still okay. We're just gonna toss that in here. Let me get the base of that one off there. They do get a lot of that great strawberry flavor even when they're a bit more on the white side. And the cool thing too is, over the years, I've picked these in different countries. So I was doing some archaeological field work in remote northern Mongolia. And in that area, the kids will go out and pick wild strawberries. They'll fill up old water bottles and soda bottles with these strawberries, and then they sell them on the roadside. So I got to go out and pick wild strawberries in Mongolia when I was over there as well. Pretty cool. Very easy to ID, very user-friendly, a fun one for kids. I'm just gonna keep picking and try to fill this up. Ho, 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 ho. Look at that guy. So you see what I mean about the base having the little leaflets. I'm gonna get that off of there and into the jar. There's another one kind of hidden away. Another one. Guy's a little bit on the white side. Carefully kind of combing through, just looking around. See if I see more. Here's another one. He's like strawberry mush. I'm just gonna eat him. Boom. Ho, 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 ho. Look at this one. Like the king of wild strawberries right there. Look at that beauty. Man, that's a score. Into the jar with ye. So picking berries with my family, it's one of my oldest memories. I remember doing this for blackberries when I was a kid. Pick with my brother and my parents, and then my mom would always make a blackberry cobbler afterwards. So I thought, wild strawberries, something I've never picked with my mom, and even though these are growing a few hours away from where she lives, I'm gonna head on up there and bring her what I find, and then we'll cook some wild strawberry shortcake. She makes the heck out of some strawberry shortcake, so this will be fun. Not all of these patches are gonna be this abundant, so if I only find a few, you know, I'll eat one or two and then leave the rest for the wildlife, but there's a ton in here. Pretty much just staying put and just picking all around me. Let me know if this stuff is interesting to you. To me, foraging for wild strawberries is every bit as interesting as catching a lingcod, because I feel like this is something that's rare enough. When you find it, it's kind of like magic, you know? You ask a kid, where do strawberries come from? They usually tell you the store, but even if a kid recognizes that strawberries are grown on a farm, they've probably never gone out and gone for wild strawberries. Well, maybe not. Maybe your kids grew up in the country and they know all about this, in which case, right on, kids. You are lucky, and appreciate that upbringing. Being connected with your food, especially what naturally volunteers from the landscape, I think is one of the most special things you could have. One of the most special relationships you could have with Mother Nature. And it's the old way. I gotta be very careful. I don't wanna get too close to the edge of the bluff. I see more, but strawberries are not worth your life, so I'm gonna go back that way. Man, I swear I just saw one. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Oh, no, I lost it. Okay, there it is. I'm trying to go lefty. Maybe I should just stick with my dominant hand here, huh? Trick with this is being ultra slow moving and very meticulous. Otherwise, you'll pass them up. Really, really blend in. That's half the fun, you know? You gotta work for these. It's like an Easter egg hunt for adults or for kids. You know, honestly, get your kids out foraging. That's some of my favorite memories growing up, is foraging with my family. We didn't call it foraging back then. We just called it getting stuff. That's a quote from my brother. Go get some blackberries, go get some wild grapes, go get some mussels. So the term foraging actually comes from wildlife studies and is something that was adopted by anthropologists. We're really good at stealing terms from other studies. But foraging basically just means acquiring your food from the landscape, and in terms of anthropology would be acquiring your food the old way, which is pre-agriculture, pre-horticulture. And I spent decades of my life studying traditional foraging societies through an archaeological approach, because I'm an archaeologist. I spent a lot of time nerding out thinking about the relationship between people and food, technologies that they make, and the environments that they thrive on. So when we talk about foraging, when you come out to one of my classes, I try to give it a bit more of a deep time approach, to give it a little bit more context for who we are, how we came to be as a species, and foraging societies around the world. Oh man, I see a nice strawberry right there. Let's go get that guy. Great. Now that I'm over here, I can't find it. Where'd it go? I know you're in here. Come on, beauty. I just saw you. Where are you? Here we go. There we go. It's a nice one too. Yeah, so obviously if every single person from the city came out to a patch like this and foraged, there would be nothing for the wildlife. There would be not enough for us to go around. So it's one of the reasons why I keep spots like this quiet. As I always say, loose lips sink ships. And it's not me trying to just be a gatekeeper. It's a matter of, people will trample these environments. They'll leave trash behind. A lot of times people do it without even knowing. People will blow things up on social media, and your favorite spot, well, ends up suffering as a result. The best thing you can do for sustainability of spots is keep them quiet. Man, there are so many strawberries here though. This is amazing. I'm so happy. I'm gonna move that way. All right, I'm gonna take a brief foraging break here, and I wanna show you the different stages of the wild strawberry plant and the wild strawberry fruit as it grows, so it'll make it easier for you to find them. Remember, if you're seeing this video and it's not wild strawberry season, go try to find the plants, because once you find the plants, you know where to go to and you know where to come back to during the season. When I'm out foraging, I'm not just foraging, I'm also scouting for when that next resource is gonna become available. See that? Ooh, baby. The early strawberry leaf, a matured red strawberry leaf, the immature wild strawberry, mature wild strawberry, and a whole feast of wild strawberries. Wow. Thanks, wild strawberries. Let's go make something delicious with these. One last thing, I was talking about access and making sure that we're not trampling bird nests and things like that. If it's closed to foraging, don't go out there and forage. There are certain things that they've closed to foraging that I think there's no reason for them to have closed. For instance, I don't think there's any reason for us not to be able to forage invasive species like wild mustard, wild radish. But the reality is, if we break the rules and we go into state parks and we go foraging where we're not allowed to, we make our entire community look bad. So please just be aware of that. Just ask permission. There's a lot of private landowners that would be totally okay with you going out and foraging. Just remember, yeah, we're ambassadors of what we do. So I do believe foraging is a right for all of us. It's the old way. It's the way our ancestors did this for thousands of years. I think we should all be allowed to do this, but we still need to be very conscious of the rules to do it right.
Okay, so 1 cup of flour, half a tablespoon of baking powder,
Tablespoon of sugar.
1/8 of a teaspoon of salt.
And there's a secret ingredient, but we're not going to tell you what it is. All right, so we are going to use a Dutch oven to get our biscuits going today. And if you've never used one of these, the easiest way to do it is with charcoal briquettes. Now the reason that it's easiest to do it that way is you can get a set number down below your Dutch oven and a set number up on top, and that helps you to control the heat. In general, we're looking at about 1/3 below the oven, 2/3 above, because heat rises, so you want more of your heat on top than down below. We'll talk more about that in a moment. And I don't have a chimney here, otherwise I would throw all these briquettes in a chimney. You could use lighter fluid as well. I'm just going to let these sticks and paper here just get going, and eventually these coals will start to cook, start to glow. Once they're glowing, we'll bust out the Dutch oven, throw our biscuit dough in there, and start cooking. So by giving this a little bit of extra oxygen, it's going to create a tremendous amount of heat in here. Hopefully that's going to get those briquettes growing to coals a little bit sooner, and then we can transfer this over to the Dutch oven. So one of the advantages to using this method versus just getting down low and blowing on it is you're not getting your eyes right in the smoke. You can also concentrate a little bit more breath using this method, and it really, once you kind of figure out how to direct it, how big or small to make that hole, you really put that jet stream of air down into the coals and you'll see it just grow like crazy. Plus it's kind of a cool party trick. You'll see it. Somebody will start a fire It's not happening. It's just smoldering. You get in there and do one of these and boom, it goes up and everybody's like, yeah! Fun party trick.
Hi. So today we're going to make biscuits on the open fire, and I've done a half of my biscuit recipe, which is 1 cup of flour, half a tablespoon of baking powder, which is 1.5 teaspoons. It has 2 teaspoons of sugar and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And now I'm doing a half a cube of butter. We've frozen the butter so that when it goes into the mix, it'll stay in little pieces. I'm grating it so it's easier to mix in.
And the reason that you want it to stay in little pieces when you mix it in, why is that?
It makes for a flakier biscuit.
And that's why we freeze it.
Right, because it creates little air pockets around the butter, and that'll create the flakier biscuit.
So there's an old cowboy saying about the old chuck wagon chefs or chuck wagon cooks. They always said that they really appreciate a camp cook who washes his hands anywhere other than in the biscuit dough. So Mom's washed her hands. I know.
Yes,
my
I
hands
have.
are on here. I'm just watching for now.
I
I'll go wash them
definitely
before
wash my hands. When I cook with my grandsons, I tell them to go in the bathroom and say the ABCs as they wash.
That's right.
So we're very strict about having clean hands when you work. But then I don't mind hands in the food if your hands are clean.
No, it's natural.
Okay, you want to dump that in here?
Sure. It looks like cheese.
It does. We want all that off of there because we're going to roll the biscuits on that. Okay. All right. So now this is called a biscuit cutter or pastry blender.
Let
And
me bring this camera in close so they can see.
it has, so they have different ones. They have some that are wire, but this one I like better because it's got some sharp teeth here, whereas the wire ones will bend a little bit. This has no resistance when you're working the butter into your bread, into your flour. And you can use it for making pie crusts too.
Okay, and now you're cutting it into the flour so that the butter is consistent size, is that correct?
Right, that looks good. You've got just little tiny pieces in there. So I think we're done with that. Now, with the milk, I'm not sure how much the recipe calls for. I usually just do it by sight. You can use milk, you can use buttermilk, you could use cream, but cream is going to be really rich biscuits. And these biscuits are rich enough with all that butter that's already in it. So I tend to either go buttermilk or milk. And if I do buttermilk, I'll put a little bit of baking soda in it as well. Not much though, because you don't want that. Baking soda has a tendency to have kind of a sharpness to it that will show up in your baked goods. It works really well in some things, but biscuits is really a baking powder.
So you mentioned that you can put a little bit of baking soda in, but only if you're using buttermilk. What's the deal with that?
A buttermilk likes acid, so you need a little bit of acid to have it work with it, and the baking soda will do that. I think that's what's going on. That's my guess.
All right.
When we're doing this, you see how I want it moist enough that I'm going to be able to roll it out, but I don't want it so moist that it'll stick to the board. So we're trying to get all the dry stuff off of the sides of this bowl, and then we're going to put it out and roll it up. So you can see that it's a little sticky. It might be a little stickier than some biscuit dough that I make, but we'll amend that with some flour on the board.
Okay.
So this is flour. Pour a little flour there. Okay, that's enough. Yep.
Uh-oh. Fishing game is coming in to bust us for wild strawberries.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so there's your biscuit dough. So that looks about right.
Like that? All right,
Yeah.
hang on. Let me get in close. Okay.
And this is my grandson's rolling pin. I didn't want to bring out the big one.
That's awesome. So what's the thickness there that we're looking for?
Do you think about a 1/2 inch?
Yeah, looks like it.
And I was going to show you this. These are my biscuit cutters, and this would be a typical biscuit, not a shortcake. Shortcake I'd cut even larger, but since we have just a few fresh strawberries, wild strawberries, I thought I'd go the smaller size.
That'll make sense for our smaller Dutch oven too.
If you don't have a biscuit cutter, you can always use a cup. I don't have any that are thin enough and large enough, but of course it makes a small biscuit. You don't want too much flour on your biscuits, just enough to roll it out. I'm placing it here. I don't want it to sit in flour really. The reason you're using a pastry blender instead of your hands is you want that butter to stay cold. So if you use your hands, the butter is going to melt from the warmth of your hands. Also, like when I roll out extra dough, I don't want to touch it too much. I touch it mostly with my fingertips, not the palm of my hand, so that that butter still stays cold. We have, I would say, a little over a cup of whipped cream, but I don't know if I'm going to use it all. How about, yep, going to use it all.
Okay, so we've got a cup of heavy whipping cream. We're gonna add some sugar to this.
Yeah, I think we'll start with a tablespoon, so that's 3 teaspoons, and then we'll taste it. And we're gonna use a little bit of vanilla.
And this is homemade vanilla extract?
This is. Sometimes I'll use Grand Marnier or another type of liqueur just to give it some flavor. Depends on what you're making. It's always best to have a chilled bowl and really cold whipped cream, but we're gonna see what happens with mildly warm whipped cream.
So the idea here is that you are aerating and disturbing the cream until it starts to thicken into like stiff peaks. Is that the idea?
Yes. Medium peaks maybe.
Medium peaks.
Well, you don't want to turn to butter.
That's very true.
So in between the butter stage and the cream stage.
This little egg beater is amazing. This thing really gets some RPMs going.
And it's an ancient design. I
Yeah.
wonder when it was developed.
It's such a great design and requires zero electricity, just elbow grease.
And I can already see some thickening in this. Do you see it?
For sure.
Yeah, you always have to bring your egg beater camping. You
Yeah.
never know when you'll find some fresh fruit to go on top of the biscuits.
That's right. It wouldn't-
Huckleberries, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be camping without an egg beater.
Blackberries, wild strawberries, there's lots of fruit out there that you can use.
So we're getting close. It's starting to thicken up.
And you can see the trail that it's leaving when you're whipping. It has kind of lines that are showing in the whipped cream, so you know that that's pretty close to done. Okay, that's probably good. What do you think?
Beautiful.
There you go. Nice whipped cream.
Yeah, that's whipped cream, all
See
right.
how it holds on to the beaters, so you know that's pretty well done. Should I put that in the fridge until we're ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You won't have that in the outdoors, so put it in your ice chest.
All right, the coals are ready to go. We're going to start transferring these over to the Dutch oven. This guy down. Open that up. In goes the biscuits.
Oops.
Perfect. Got room for one in the middle too, huh?
Mm-hmm. A little
Beautiful.
fake one.
Put this one on top here. And we're going to put some coals on top right now. Looks about right, right?
Yep.
Every 15 minutes, we're going to rotate the lid 90 degrees to the right, and then we're going to hook the bale itself, and we're going to rotate the whole Dutch oven 90 degrees to the left. That way, we create an environment where if there's any hot spots on the lid, those hot spots are evenly distributed throughout the cooking. If there's any hot spots down below, those are also evenly distributed. And that way, everything should cook evenly. You don't get parts that are burned and parts that are undercooked.
The temperature of the interior of the Dutch oven should be about 425. So we have a laser thermometer that we sometimes use when we use the Dutch oven. It's not necessary, but it helps.
Mom was saying it should take about 10 minutes. Yeah, we're space age. This is the old way, but we got freaking laser beams. Got a pot hook upstairs somewhere, but I'm not gonna worry about it. We're just gonna make one. So.
Because the old ways are alive.
That's right, this is how we keep the old ways alive. Just a piece of apple. We're looking for a branch here. I'm just gonna trim the top up. Cutting away from myself. And that way, this will be a little bit easier to hook underneath the bail there. Nothing fancy, but that'll do. All right, I'm gonna hook it. And I'm gonna rotate 90 degrees to the left. And then I'm gonna bring this down. I'm gonna rotate 90 degrees the opposite direction. And it's really important when you're rotating this that you don't want to lift the lid, because each time you lift the lid, you're going to be letting some of that heat out, which increases the cooking time. So we're just kind of sliding the lid very carefully.
So we want to add a little bit of sugar to the strawberries, even if they're really sweet, because that'll create a little bit of a sauce that you can then use on your biscuits. They'll start weeping.
Make sure that lid's on there good, because I was having trouble with it sealing.
Yeah, you had it upside down.
Did? Really? Ha! That's so funny. User error.
You can see already that there's a little bit of moisture in that jar, but it'll start weeping a little bit more and it'll create a nice little liquid to go on top of the biscuits.
So we were getting a little bit of a carbon smell going on there, so we ended up adding a couple rocks underneath this. Typically, those legs at the bottom of the Dutch oven will keep it high up enough off the ground, but I think the ground's kind of damp, so it just kind of sunk in a little bit. Hopefully that gives us a little bit more room between the coals and the biscuits, and that way we don't burn them.
Didn't know how you did that.
Ooh, those are pretty good looking.
Those look beautiful.
Wow.
They're a little brown on the bottom, but
That's okay.
excellent. Yeah, excellent job, Kat.
All right.
So I'll go get the whipped cream.
Sit there.
Around here. Man, well, we don't need any more cooking, so we're gonna get these off of here. Back into the fire pit very carefully. Ever since I started dating Diane, I use chopsticks for everything. She's always like, this is the most efficient tool for the job. I fought it for a minute, but she's right. This works really well. Dad's out here just in time.
Yeah.
You could smell it, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty.
So what do you want to do?
I guess let's dish it up however you
Okay,
would do it. You're the expert.
Let's bring a couple of biscuits here.
Okay, I'm gonna take the lid off.
Yeah, and they need to stop cooking anyway, so we'll probably... Hunter, you want to go get a plate so we can put the rest of them on a plate?
I did get a little char on the bottom, but that's
Right,
okay.
that's because it was too close
Too hot on the bottom.
Right, so we're going to use your knife and we're going to cut off a little bit of the char, okay?
Yep. Honestly, outdoor cooking, you get a little char now and then. But that's half the fun of cooking in the outdoors.
Oh no, I want perfection.
My mom wants perfection, and that's okay. That's what we strive for. But I'm telling you, a little bit of char, that's all right.
Let me have your knife. I'm going to cut off a little bit of the char, okay? Plus, I'm going to open them up.
Oh yeah, I guess we could always, use half of one.
We have plenty.
Yeah, we're good. Man, these are so pretty though. Every time growing up, when my mom would spill something while she was cooking, she'd always be like, it's an offering to the floor gods. So apparently we're offering to the fire gods now. This is the final moment. On goes this gorgeous whipped cream. Beautiful wild strawberries. One to the floor gods, as we do here.
Okay, and then we're going to
Wow,
put a little bit more whipped cream on top. And do you want it tall?
I think just like that, open face looks amazing.
Okay,
That's gorgeous. Get a few of those up top.
there.
All right.
Give that to your dad.
Here you go, Pop.
Thank you. Looking forward to this.
So a little bit of whipped cream.
See how beautifully flaky that is too. That's perfect.
And look how nice the cream is, how it holds its shape. Oh
Yeah.
man, I'm sorry. I hate to waste them.
That's okay. Again, it's an offering. It's fine.
It's an offering.
That's gorgeous. That's a lot. We're good. We're good.
Well, you don't want to save them, do you?
No. I'm going to pick more for Diane later. Man, those are beautiful. Wow.
And there's the liquid. Okay.
This is the part where Diane's usually like, seriously, you're going to make me wait?
I guess I'm not Diane.
Because you didn't.
Dad's
win.
already into it. What'd you think, Pop?
Oh, really good. The biscuits are perfect, and the strawberries are nice and sweet. The whipped cream is sweet.
Oh,
and good.
yum.
Yeah. Okay.
Yum.
Yeah. Yum. All right. That's good. I like it when the professional baker approves. Mm.
Yum, right?
Yum is correct. That is wow. Okay. Labor of love and totally worth it. Mm.
That's what I always say my cooking is. My way of showing love.
Mhm.
So how much time do you think went into those strawberry gathering?
I probably spent an hour. I found a really productive patch, so wasn't too bad. Some days, you know, it'd probably be 2-3 hours, but yeah, maybe 45 minutes. I was just kind of chilling. I think the reason it took the reason it took more time was mainly just because I was trying to film. If I had just been concentrating on picking, I probably could have done it in 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
But you could use any other fruit, wild fruit. So you could do it with blackberries or huckleberries.
Thimbleberries.
I don't know thimbleberries, but yeah. Oh yeah, I do know them. You showed those to me at camping that time.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
kind of a tart, seedy raspberry kind of a thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the cool thing about wild strawberries is they fruit very early. So before everything else is going off, if you're looking for them, it's a pretty short window, but if you catch them, well worth the harvest.
Are they mostly coastal?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Alrighty, folks, we are for sure polishing every little bit of this off. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned some things. And until next time,
Keep the old ways alive.